Session. It's web and Android device integrated functional automation testing, and we have Darshan from Cinecron to talk about it. Over to you guys. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, hi, good afternoon all. Hello. Hello. Hi, good afternoon all. My name is Darshan Padmawar and I'm working in QA domain in last 7 years. Okay. Yeah. So I work with the Cinecron Technologies as an automation test consultant, and for today's presentation my topic is web and Android device. Okay. So for today's presentation my topic is web and Android device integrated automation testing. So to start with, I have an agenda for this. So first, we'll discuss about why to integrate web and Android device automation. Then we'll see how it is done using Selenium and Robotium. And we'll see the actual code, how it is integrated. And we'll have a demo and then question answer session for that. So before starting the presentation, I would like to know your opinions about do we need integration in any kind of testing? Yeah, what is the reason? Any opinion? So I will explain it. We need integration because suppose in this case we're integrating web automation and Android device automation. So there are some things which we cannot test if you are only testing for mobile functionality or if you are only testing the web functionality. So to focus those areas, we need to integrate those. That's the reason I have chosen this topic to integrate web and device. Okay. So as you are knowing that we are living in the mobile era. So every one of you are having mobile phones and most of them are having smartphones. So because of that, many companies are releasing their mobile device app version apart from the web portal. So if you want to book a ticket or if you want to do some transaction in a bank, earlier it was by using the web portal, but now you can do all those things on your mobile phone. So day by day, more and more companies are releasing their app versions for the mobile. That's the reason the mobile testing will become a very crucial part in any company who is doing the QA. Okay. And when you talk about the mobile testing, the first name that comes into your mind is the Android phone. Because if you see the graph, more than 50% market is captured by Android. So when you are looking for the mobile testing, you have to think about the Android phones. Okay, so I will discuss about on the slide about why to integrate. As I was telling about that, there are tools for the mobile testing in the market. There are tools for the web automation also in the market. Why can't we use both the tools independently? But if you use those tools independently, there are a few areas that we cannot concentrate on. So there are these areas like data synchronization between device app and web app. So what does that mean? For example, you have one application, for example, any IRCTC website. Okay, you go to IRCTC website and updates your profile there. Okay, but do you check whether that information is correctly updated on your mobile device? Suppose you update your email ID or phone number. So then in the same way, there should be some technique which should test this integration part, whether if you are updating something on the web portal, then it should be correctly reflected on the device side or vice versa. There can be another aspect for the integration that we have to manually test the cross functionality on both the platforms. Suppose the example is booking a ticket. So you can book a ticket on website or you can book a ticket through your handset. So does it give you the correct response? Do you get the same response in both the cases? So you need to test that. So you have tools separately, you can test it, but do you have a tool to check whether you are getting the same response at both the ends? So that's the reason we need to integrate this automation. The third point here is that the synchronous interaction between web app and device app. Now there are some data protection app in the market where you can invoke some command from the web portal and it will be invoked on the device. For example, if you lost your mobile phone, there are some applications where you go to the web portal, you lock the phone, or you can just alarm the phone. So you can find out where it is alarming. So there are some operations that you have to check end to end. So first, if you want to do automation for that, you can do web automation for invoking the command. But at the same time, because this is a synchronous flow, you have to also test on the device whether that command is properly invoked or not. And once you do some operation on the device, okay, you have to also verify whether that operation is successfully reflected at the website or not. Apart from that, definitely we have different types of network for the mobiles like 3G, Wi-Fi. So you need to check whether the features are working properly with 3G or Wi-Fi. So there are these aspects, those are important. That's the reason I found this topic very interesting to integrate web automation and device automation. So for this integration, I have chosen Robotium and Selenium part. So for the web automation, I'm using the Selenium tool. And for Android device automation, I'm using the Robotium tool. So here I have mentioned some of the key points for the Selenium, that it is an open source, it's very cost effective. It supports all types of browsers, IE, Firefox, Chrome, Safari. Apart from that, it also supports all types of operating systems. So it is one of the best automation tool in the market, open source automation tool. Also, you want to write a script using Selenium, so you have option like Java, Ruby, C#, Python. It does support to run the multiple tests at a time, so you can create a test suite and execute in one go. It has a very simple API to interact with HTML client, and it's very easy to maintain. So these are some key points for the Selenium. That's the reason I have chosen Selenium for the web automation. So moving to the next slide, that's here I mentioned the key areas for the Robotiums. It is also an open source tool, Robotium. It supports the multiple Android version. It does support any Android mobile phone above 2.3 Android OS. I think most of you, if you are having the Android phones, it is above the 2.3. Yes. Also, it supports the native and hybrid applications. Now, what does it mean, native and hybrid? So if your application are having some web components, then it becomes the hybrid application. And if it's only having the UI components, then it will become the native application. One of the good features that Robotium has that you have to just write the script once and you can execute on any device, on any brand. It does not, you don't have to customize it if you want to run on the different mobiles. Okay, it's very easy to write and very shorter code, so anybody can write within 10-15 minutes the code if you have the setup ready. One of the best part is that you don't need the Android app source code. This is the very good feature the Robotium has, because if you compare what are the mobile testing tools in the market like Monkeytalk and other tools, so you need the source code if you want to write a test case for that. You need to customize that APK. But for this, you don't need the APK, don't need the source code, you just need the APK. And you can start your automation. And it is built on the Java language and uses JUnit framework, that assert functional. So it has the support for verification part. So, yeah. So coming to the integration architecture. So this is the integration architecture I have. So on the top you have a driver script, and it invokes the Selenium web test case and the Robotium mobile test case. Once the test case executed, you will get the output, the same as the mobile side also, you get the output once the execution is completed. And there are two arrows having the blue background, so those are the integration point in my framework. The top one is basically, it invokes the Robotium mobile test case from my framework. Okay, now the driver script is just a pure core Java file, which we can invoke the RoboTM test case as well as the Selenium test case. And the bottom there is where we are comparing the output. That is another integration point. Okay, so how it does, I will explain that. First, I have a code for this. Yeah. So for the top blue arrow, I'm using this source code. So to call the RoboTM test case from my driver script, I'm using the Java Lang runtime class. So you see that the first string mobile test is basically the command that you are going to invoke on the device. So I have written the command there. It has a format starting with the ADB. So ADB is the Android debug bridge if you are aware of the Android development. So this is the very basic tool you have. So this tool allows you to interact with the mobile devices from your machine. This is a command line tool. And the next syntax is shell. It allows you to execute the commands in the shell. And AM instrument is for the activity manager. So basically, when you are invoking the command, invoking any application or invoking any test case on the mobile device, you have it is an activity manager that you are invoking, that you are playing with. So that's the reason you have to write this code. And -w is for to wait till the execution is completed. So my driver script will wait till the point the mobile test case is completed and I get the output. And -e is where I'm passing my test file class name and the test case name. Now you can have a test suite having the multiple test cases in one test file. And if you want to invoke just one of them, you don't want to invoke all of the test cases. So you just write the test file class name, that is your test suite name, followed by hash, followed by the test case name. That is actually the test case that you want to choose out of the test suite. After that, you have the test package name. This is your actual package name that you want to test. So this is the application APK. And the last parameter is android.test.instrumentation test runner. This is the Android runner. This allows you to execute the RoboTM test case on the device. So this is the generic command. If you want to use the command, you can use as it is. In the second line, I'm using the runtime.getRuntime function to execute the command on the mobile. So I'm passing the string in that exec method, and I'm executing. So it is equivalent to executing a command on the command prompt. So if you can manually execute the same command on the command prompt, and you will get the same output. If you want to do it programmatically, you can use this code. And here in the third line, I am just getting the output of that command, whether my test case is passed or failed, what the output I got from the RoboTM test case. And the last two lines are basically fetching that data and storing so that I can use in the further verification part. So this is the invoking the RoboTM test case. That is the top arrow with a blue background. And for the bottom arrow where you are comparing the output, the mobile test case output and web output. For example, you are updating your account profile, you are updating your first name and last name on the device side. Suppose I'm telling you go to the automation test script will invoke your app, will update the first name, last name, and then it stores the first name, what is the updated first name and last name, and now we got the output from the mobile test case. Now what is remaining that you have to go to the website and you have to check whether that name is correctly updated on the web or not. So you need the expected data in that case. So expected data, you have to store it once the execution is completed at the device end, and you have to fetch it on the machine so that you can compare with the web element. So for this, you can use the simple ADB commands to fetch the log files. Once you get the log files, then you can use this simple file or string comparison functions to compare that information with the web. Okay, so we'll have a demo now. So basically, I have taken a very, maybe you are knowing this site, Book My Show, where many people do book a show. So they have their device app also. So in this case, I don't have the source code for that. So I directly go to the Google Play Store and download the APK file. And I can start my automation. So it is as simple as that. So we have the web here. So my demo, what it will do, it will first invoke the device test case, go to the my account, updates the first name and last name, then it closes the test case, it comes back, it fetches what is the output, what is the updated first name and last name on the device side, then it invokes the website and it compares whether it is updated properly or not. So this is basically a C-test tool. It allows me to share my mobile screen on the desktop. So this is basically I have connected my device to my machine and the screen is displayed on the machine. And this is my driver script, as I was showing that in my automation framework. Here you can see that you have a run mobile test. So I'm just calling the mobile test and then I'm fetching the mobile TC logs and then I will compare with the web profile. So first I will execute this test case. So now it has invoked the Book My Show application. So now it is logging it is putting the username and password so that it can go to my account. Yeah, now it will update the first name and last name. So I'm appending the timestamp so that every time it will update with the new first name and last name. Yeah. Now the updation is complete and it closes the application. Yeah. So you can see in the Eclipse console that it has successfully pulled the log files and it is saying that the screenshots are not available. So RoboTM gives you the feature, if your test case is failed, then it will give you the screenshot of the exact screen at which your test case is failed. So you'll get to know on what is the exact reason for that. So it will fetch all those details and then it will start executing the mobile test case. Yeah. So this test case is written using Selenium. So here also it needs to log in. So it's putting username and password. So now it goes to the user account and verifies what is the first name and last name, whether it is correctly updated or not. So it fetches that information and signs out. Okay, and you get the output. So this is basically the system sysout I have put in my code to get whether the test cases are pass or not. You can definitely build a good robust framework based on this architecture. Yeah. It is similar, but the difference is that RoboTM directly talks with the UI elements, where the UI automator cannot. It is again the main difference is that if you want to write the RoboTM test case, it's much simpler than writing a test case in UI automator. Yeah. No. the screens will be different. But while writing the test case, you will be knowing what is your expected output. So you will be designing the test case accordingly. Yes, I'm trying to validate what is updated on the device with the whether it is updated correctly on the web. Or you can, vice versa, you can do that. You update something on the web, go to device and check that. Parallelly, you want to say? Parallelly, it cannot be updated, right? It will take any of one.
So if I on mobile, if I update something, I can still validate whether that's updated correctly or not.
Yes, that's the reason. See, this is one of the reliable way. That's the reason I have put this point in this ODCA theme. So it is you generally verify functionality on the device side. So you get one more layer of verification at the website whether it is properly updated or not. Because ultimately, what you are doing on the device will get to the server, which store at the server side, and that will get reflected in the website also.
The tests would already kind of validations, or can there be any
Yes,
other more
yes,
kind of-
yes. That validation you can put in the Robotium script as well as the Selenium
This is
script.
one kind of test. Any more tests you would like to do? Something on web and something on.
For the demo, I have just one this test case. You can do anything, miss, if you want. I have in my company, I have already built a framework based on this principle. And to give more update about that, so basically you can connect multiple devices and you start the execution. It executes on all the devices. It executes on all the browsers in a single go, and you get the actual results. So you can go up to that level.
You directly run the test cases on the mobile device, or there are any simulators also?
Yeah, Robotium does support simulators also. You can execute on the simulator as well as the actual device.
So you doesn't need multiple mobile devices to test it?
You need, if you want to check whether your app is working, giving support to all the devices, you have to test on each devices, because we have found some issues based on the different OS or different brand. Because if you see HTC or Sony, they are having their customized OS. So you need to check on every device whether your app is working properly or not.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if any mobile automation tool can address UI issues,
UI issue means what?
as in like distortion or such.
This tool is mainly for the functional testing. For the UI testing, there can be other tools. But definitely it does support taking a screenshot of each screen. So during the execution, you can take the screenshot and then you can verify it manually. That is possible.
If I need to test like if any particular object is distorted or is misplaced on the UI, is there any way of
Yes. If it is misplaced, so how the Robotium works, it takes the index of, suppose you are doing, so you are clicking on the login button on the device screen. So it takes the index of that. So suppose there is change in that index, it will fail the test case, and it gives you the screenshot of that. So you'll get to know whether the screen is distorted or not.
but the placement of the location of the object may not be accurate?
Yeah, that may not be. That is not possible using the Robotium, because it is used mainly for the functional testing. It supports all type of application, native as well as hybrid. Yeah. Yes. This is basically proprietary work, because this is what that framework was for my client. But I have developed that using all the open source tools like Selenium, Robotium, and if you have a good knowledge of Java, you can directly build it. Because you know what is the architecture. Now, what you want to add, like keyword-driven support or data-driven support or reporting utility, you need to integrate that. That is common for all the automation frameworks.
Sorry, hello. Whenever we develop custom applications for clients, so it is like we need to instrument that. So can you talk about means that thing, how we can instrument application so that we can start testing using Robotium? Because you said you took application like Book My Show and then directly start it. But it is developed by somebody.
Right.
Why they will allow you to test their application?
Yeah, so there is one layer of security that every application has. So you cannot directly take the Google, application from the Google Play Store and use it. So for this, you have to re-sign that APK file. So we have utility for that. It is available on the Google. You just have to drop your APK file on that resign.jar, and it will give you the APK file that will work on your machine. So that is possible. Or if you have the certificates of your client, like if I want to use the Book My Show, if I have the certificates of that Book My Show, I can basically resign my test APK. So I don't have to make any changes on the application APK. Yes, in my framework I handle it programmatically, or you can do it manually also.
So every version you need to do this process and then you
Yes, once you write the script, you can use it. It's a part of automation framework then.
And can you talk a bit about object repository building using
Yes.
Robotium? Because I haven't seen direct support for object repository building,
Right.
but we need to use maybe UI Automator or some kind of like TestDroid, which is third-party tool based on Robotium.
Yeah, so Robotium does support the runtime GUI binding. So at the runtime, it will decide whether the object is there. There is no separate object repository created while designing the Robotium test case. So you can definitely have, based on the index, as I told already, based on the index or based on the text, it identifies the element on the screen. So I can show you the script I have. Yeah. So this is the script. So it's very simple. Solo.wait for text. Wait till it gets the account text on the screen. Then click on the text account. Then I have put the sleep purposely so that you can see actual execution. Then it will enters the text like username and password. So here the first parameter is the index. So it will put the username in the first edit text field. So in this way you can write it. It's very simple.
Right. Currently, we are using CTest mobile automation tool for testing our mobile applications.
Okay.
And CTest basically uses image-based identification technique, and plus native and all those things are also there. And to identify the elements using a native identification technique, you need to instrument the application first. Not only that, CTest is able to access to the properties of the application. So is it the same way goes here in Robotium, or like it only does the identification based on the native properties?
Yeah. So here the thing is that when you are, what I am doing in the Robotium test case, I am launching the application APK. So if you want to launch the application APK programmatically, you need to have the instrument as we were talking about. You need to update the certificates accordingly. You can use Robotium or any other tool. So that is required because you have to sign that APK file with your local machine certificate.
Okay.
So it's the same for, yeah.
And does this particular tool supports image identification, or it only identifies the elements based on the properties?
As far as I know, Robotium does not support the image
So
identification.
it only identifies the
Yes.
elements based on the
But
properties.
actually, it is actually good to have because you can have a phone of different UI, different sizes. Suppose you can have a Note, you can have a phone of 4.3 inch or 4 inch. So if you want to do a UI verification, then it will fail in that case.
Right. But in that case, like the problems like the location of the object has got changed. The kind of problems which the person was talking about can be found out using the image identification technique, because it basically like matches the pixel by pixel and it identifies that object. So suppose that object has got transferred to somewhere else, that would not be able to found out, and we will be able to found out that particular
Yeah.
problem.
So in this case also, the image identification will be different. The expected image will be different for every mobile of different sizes, right? So it is very hard to maintain in that case. Suppose you have different mobiles of different sizes, you have to maintain all those things. And every time you get a new build, you get the functionality gets changed, the screen gets changed. You have to maintain all those things.
Right.
So main efforts will go into that feature basically. Here it does support that. it does support all the devices, so you don't have to worry about that. You write it and execute on all the devices.
Thanks.
So this kind of test, right? Doing something on one platform and verifying whether they are there, the things have been updated on other platforms. So just curious to know how many. Do you automate all of the functionalities of application, or just one or two functionalities are enough to verify that things happening here are getting updated over there?
No, I have automated around, we have regression suites of more than 50% have been already automated. So it has that much coverage. You can use the Robotium tool for that. Actually, nobody asked about what are the limitations of this tool. So there are some limitations also. The limitation is that when you write the test case, it executes at the APK level. So suppose you have some screen at the device level. So for example, the contact screen, right? So it does not, it cannot access to that screen. It can only access to the application screen. So the start point for this script will be launching the target APK, and it can execute that. So that is one of the limitation for this Robotium tool.
If I updated something on mobile, after a few seconds only you will be able to cross-verify that on web. So are there any delays in test times?
You can do it programmatically if you want to. Like I have put here a solo.slip. You can put it, or in the Selenium also you can put headless.
Do you need to do that?
No, this for the demo purpose I have put, because this execution is very fast. You cannot see the transition of the screens. That's why I purposely put the slips here. That's the reason.
Sorry, guys, but if you guys have more questions, so Darshan is going to be around for some more time, so you can catch up and discuss if you have any questions. Thank you.
So just the last point is that if you want to use Robotium's tool to automate your test cases, that the only requirement is that you should know little bit about Java, because you see that anybody can write this type of test cases, and the only prerequisite is that you should have the Android SDK installed on your machine. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Darshan. That was quite an insight into Robotium, a framework for functional testing. Moving on to next sessions, we have lightning talks coming up. So we'll be starting with our first lightning talk, that is biting into our scenario.
So as I said, we'll be having lightning talks here in this space. So we're just quickly going to wait for other tracks to complete. So you have like 5 minutes. Once everyone is down, this common space will be used for the lightning talks. Please remember, please give feedback if you are using the app. So that is feed-me-back.appspot.com/vodka, or else you can use the paper format.
Also, we can see that there have been only 3 talks or 3 topics for the open space. We still have 3 more spaces left. So I urge all the attendees to put in more topics if they are interested or passionate about anything and they want to share it with people, talk about it and get more ideas upfront. So there's still time. Do put up your topics there.
So one of the best ways would be when you're interacting and you're actually probably talking about a topic, and if it's a very good discussion, you feel you want to share it with the community, might as well that is the one you want to put up there.